and I used the Renogy 300 shunt, which I showed you earlier. I will say, what's going on, my people? 2024 and a whole new season. I'm going to be keeping this season going as long as I possibly can. I've got so many different things going on and so many different boat projects that I cannot wait to bring you videos on. If there's something that you're looking to do or need help with a project, I implore you to reach out. Facebook or Instagram, I will respond. This year, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff with the kids. We're going to be doing a lot of boat projects with the kids, but we're also going to be traveling with the boat. We're going to be playing with the new high field. We're going to be exploring all new sorts of places, but at the end of it all, we're going to be doing what we do best, which is the projects. So, boat drinks for everyone, and cheers to you and the water. What is up, my people? All right, so I don't know if I'm going to wind up doing 2 or 3 videos on this. So when I finally put this one together, and again, I still have a bit more to do here, I'll figure it out. Anyway, I just finished wiring, mind the noise, the unit today, help of a friend of mine, and here we are. All right, so I'm assuming we can see everything a little better that way. All right, so what we got here? We have our 1,000-watt inverter. We decided to put a battery disconnect in. I've got the 40-amp Rover, the 4 core mini batteries. I've got 2 12-volt buses rated at 250 amps a piece. They're good for 12-volt, 24-volt, or 48-volt. And I used the Renogy 300 shunt, which I showed you earlier. I will say, guys, if you're using the Core 1, I'm going to boop that, which is this device. If you're using the Core 1, when you set it up for the first time, because they're a little older, right? This is a new piece of equipment, the shunt. So I actually had to do an update in order to find it. I was sitting there for like 10 minutes and I'm like, man. So far, things I'm super stoked about would be how everything kind of came out. Things I'm not too excited about would be with running the wires and the channels here and moving this stuff. And we use really thick gauge wire on the shunt, right? It goes to your negative, so we're using 1/0 wire. These don't fit back perfect, but who cares? All right, so another thing I want to show you, which I'll get to in a second, is I did wind up channeling underneath the inverter, and I'm going to boop this again so I can see myself and the controller. And I used Dayton 12-volt fans. It's just a computer fan. I'll show you one real quick here. So it's DC, that way I don't have to invert the power. So I have these, this one happens to be sitting back here, and I have a tunnel behind the fan so it can pull cool air, and a tunnel that goes underneath the inverter so I can actually reach completely on under there. And then with this, unfortunately I had no more space behind it, so what I just wound up doing was putting the fan, and I'll show you the best I can with the light that we're dealing with, right here in the front, which is pushing air and it's coming out the sides. But these things are awesome, these little Daytons. They actually move quite a bit of air. Right now I actually have the system powered off with the main disconnect, but we can have a look in a second. Oh, one other thing I did, yes, you can see it here. Trying to figure out how to get solar in. Now at this point in time, you'd have to have the box opened in order to plug in your electric, right, your 120. We might actually put a wire to the front with an actual outlet on the front, a weatherproof one. We already made a penetration here, so what I did was I bought the cables, I tied them on with Anderson connectors, and I have an Anderson port right here that I can just literally plug this in before I connect it to my Renogy 400-watt panel. We just did a little bit of a test. It's raining, it's nasty out. This is weatherproof, by the way, this connection. So in theory, it's still weatherproof, but I don't know until I do my tests if we can run this with the lid closed. I may have to put a couple more ports, for instance, something like this off the back in line with this fan and that fan, so we can pull cool air in as needed. Haven't decided how I'm going to do that yet. I mean, again, no matter what, it's a weatherproof, it's waterproof still and will remain waterproof, but it's not, or it's water resistant. It's not waterproof. Even with this plug, I think this plug is only rated to like 3 meters. So still decent. So let's just take a closer look at this. Okay, so again, I have my inverter here, and you can see it right back here is my fan. Here is the core 1. So one thing I had to do is if you come here and you go into your shunt, you can come up to the top and you can go into your battery and you can set your amperage, right? What you want to do. So when I got it, it was set for 100 amp hours. I rechanged it to 400 because that's what we're running. And there's other things in here. You can set alarms, you can do general. So when looking at it right now, I have 10 days left. I'm only at 25%. I just took these batteries out of the box the other day, so they do need to be charged up. And we come back here and you can also see your controller. Obviously nothing. It says 0.3. I don't know why it would say that because nothing's connected. Batteries are be charged at 13 volts. Or you can go to your home screen and see everything. So right now, just with how it's set up, with this on and the shunt, I have 18 days, 20 hours left from 25% because I'm drawing 20 amps, which is nothing. That's literally just powering the screen when that goes off into sleep mode, which, by the way, you can set. It's in, where is it? Display, sleep mode, or backlight adjustment. You can go in there and you can set however you want to do it. Also, you will need Wi-Fi in order to set the correct time. So basically just connect this to your phone and you're golden. This is not down yet. I still have to glue it, as I want to glue in all these pieces again to tighten everything up. Okay, so coming over, I'm going to turn my batteries to on. Right, so now we're on. Even with that off, actually, hold on, let me come off. This switch right here turns on my fans. I don't know if you can hear it. Get down close. So we have one there, and we have another one. Let's see if I can turn a light on for y'all. Because everyone was concerned about heat. I believe this will work. Maybe it won't. You can see the other fan right there. See it right here. And you can feel the air coming out of here. But then we turn our power on. We get lit up. And let's see, we're at 13 volts on the batteries, and this is basically the brain. Now mind you, it's very important that you set this, I don't know if you can see it, to lithium, and I also have it set to 12 volt and lithium. And how you do that, you just basically hold this button down until it starts to scroll, and you use your up downs or your arrows, and then you hold that down when you want to be done. Again, I'm using the battery bus bars, so I have all the batteries tied into individual bars, and then we have obviously the controller and the inverter going back to that bar as well. Yeah, pretty neat stuff, guys. I'm excited. The shunt, we did use extremely heavy cable, as you can see, so it's there, but as you can see, we have Bluetooth, which is the green light, and the yellow, if you can see it, just basically means it's powered on. What I do plan on doing is using some Super 77 glow, and I'm going to go ahead and, I just noticed that temp sensor has been disconnected, but I'm going to glue all these back the best I can to fill in the squares. Obviously, I maybe just that one. This will make it cleaner. But yeah, I got to go back through and do that. So far the only thing I'm really disappointed about would be how all the foam sort of just didn't match back up the way I wanted. But I still have to vacuum it, clean it, and then we'll do a test outside. Again, I have this set for 1 minute, but with the fans on, the inverter on, we're drawing 5.59 amps. It gives me 7 days with everything. And I'm going to shut my fans off, and I'm going to kill the batteries again, and that'll drop back down to like 18 days or up to 18 days because the shunt will remain on. And for me, I was thinking of maybe putting the shunt onto a disconnect as well, because this will go to sleep. But honestly, once I get these to 100%, they'll stay lit for, and this box will be used quite often, so I'm not too concerned about it. I just wanted to plug back in my temp sensor. So the temp sensor is right here. You can move it up or down. I can add multiples if need be, but really I don't know what else I'd have to do. Pretty stoked about that. No, this is the 400 watt panel. And again, it's nasty, nasty, nasty outside right now. and I couldn't get the length from here to outside and connect it to this panel because I only bought 10-foot cables. I would recommend maybe going longer, depending on what you're planning on doing with these. So like I was just saying, these are 10 foot, I maybe have another 12 inches, so maybe 11 foot. There's about a foot of cable on the 400 watt. And again, I wouldn't go anything smaller. Now you could build your own array, which would be fine. You could still plug it in, say if you have a tiny house, like I was saying earlier in the previous video. If you built a smaller scale, that would work. I really just wanted to play with this. Again, I get to kind of put these things together for work, so pretty stoked about it. But I wanted to test out this shunt to see how it would work, and so far it is working perfect. I do like when I get my Bluetooth batteries, I can see each individual cell, etc. And unfortunately with the shunt, all I'm going to be able to do is read amperage in and out or the voltage of the battery itself. Again, if you're going to use this for like a tiny home or a job site type area, 10 foot's not enough. You're going to want to have at least a 20-foot cable. I might even build another set. These, I'll open it, are super essential if you want to do stuff like this. This is just a quick little Anderson connector that you can get from Home Depot, and you're just going to clip it, run the wires where you want, and then the other side will attach to your solar. If you've seen my install on my boat or on my buddy's boat, I didn't use these on my buddy's boat actually. I used a different one, just a little quick connect. I highly recommend these. They're not that expensive. I think they're like $10 or $12 a unit, but you get two connectors, male and female, times two, so you're actually getting four, and you can basically do stuff like this. Like again, this is waterproof or water resistant. I did fuse in the 12 volt fans, right? So these just turned back on. My fuse is back here. I'm using a 20 amp. I figured, with the switch, which is important, I didn't want to have the fans. So let me explain why I did the switch. It'd be awesome if they just came on when needed. I don't have a thermostat in here. Maybe that could be a cool upgrade. This will have to be, I'll probably put a sticker right here that says make sure is on, 100% has to be on. But if I had tied it into the bus bar or even the load side of the controller, they'd be on all the time, obviously creating a draw when the unit's not in use. And we already have enough of a draw just off this. I mean, now I'm up to 20 days, we're pointing 0.20 amps. And that's also probably because the Wi-Fi is still on right now. So once I walk away, the Wi-Fi will go away. The Bluetooth will continue between the two, even though nothing's going through the shunt. It'll get better, right? So I guess the next step is going to be to clean this up and use my glue. Again, I'll be using the 3M stuff. I'm going to glue the back of the core 1 down, and then I'm going to take some of these blocks that are just a little messy because I'm kind of like a lunatic like that. Get some glue down in here and squeeze everything back together, make it look as pretty as possible. I got to glue in the switch, maybe a little bit of tweaking on some of the wiring, but she's done. She is done, and you can go ahead and close it up. And there's no heat right now. She's done, but if you remember what I was just saying before about getting air in, obviously it wouldn't be on this side, but I could get something similar to this on a smaller scale, maybe one a little PVC, and I can put them in line. Look, it's never going to go in the ocean. If you're going to use this, you're going to lie it down in this configuration in the middle of the woods. We're putting an outlet outside anyhow, and just having some through air so you can leave it latched, maybe just every other latch, so you'd be fine, especially with those fans. I can't say 100% sure, but that's what testing's for, right? So I could close it, run it, put a Wi-Fi thermometer inside in a couple of different spots, so like a barbecue grill thermometer, and get an idea of what the temperature is when she's charging and pushing power out. And if I see it's getting too hot, like I said, right back here, in line with this, and in line with this, I can go ahead and run a fresh air intake, and we'll get fresh air. It'll keep it cool. I will say the 1000 watt doesn't get too hot, and my 40 amp controllers and all my other units, I don't have any air blowing on them, and they're enclosed in small cabinets. I do have the possibility, with a thermostat to vent, but I keep it at like max, which is like 200 degrees. They're never creating that much heat, and I've had one on for a year. So the 1000 watt's going to be a nice little addition. I will say it is encapsulated in foam now, and that's why I'm going to want to do that test. But I think just that air moving with these 12 volt fans, so cool. I should have got one with a light. Be plenty enough. Anyway, there'll either be a second part coming out to this video right now, or there'll be a third video when I do my testing. So I'll probably just get this glued together. I figured you didn't need to see that. I wish I could have recorded the wiring, guys, but you know what? Sometimes you just can't do that, especially, you know, I'm working, so I don't want to be worried about, you know, the camera. I had to worry about getting this done. You know, we did not use hand crimps, right? This was all high pressed together, and everything is would be code if you wanted to say so. But yeah, very clean, very nice, very happy. Any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. I have a feeling I'm going to put this little speech video out about how she's built as my second, and I'll get a third when we do the testing, and so we can keep them all around 15 minutes. All right. Cheers. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.